getting up to 76, maybe a little breeze in the afternoon. Morning clouds tomorrow, then they clear out, back up to 76. It is 49 right now. Lampasas City Manager Finley DeGraff and Reed along with Ronnie Witchers in the house coming up next.
Bill's Burgers is the newest burger joint in town. They are family-owned and, like family, friendly.
And it's no contest. They have some of the best wings and burgers in town, with sides like fried pickles and bacon cheese fries.
It's not just the fries and drinks that'll have you coming back through the years, it's the fun. With live musical performance every Thursday and Saturday.
With plenty of room on the dance floor. Don't take our word for it. Go stuff your face and have fun at Bill's Burgers, 904 North Key in Lampasas.
Lampasas City Manager Finley DeGraff and Reed in our studio. It's Wednesday, hump day, and we're running a few minutes late this morning, I have to confess. You know those days when you get out of the house late anyway, you know, you're on the edge, and then the unexpected traffic stop for construction out on Highway 183, and I took a back road, you know, came into town on the old Lomita Road. I don't know what county road number that is. Anyway, bothered because of all the traffic stops, and I get finally to the end of the old Lomita Road coming into town, and the guy's standing up there at the intersection of Avenue E, you know, with a stop sign and everything. It was for the other direction, but anyway, it scared me, and I thought, oh, no, not now. It's one of those days. Avenue E is paving today. Looks like a lot of sloppy black stuff on the dirt out there.
Right. They've laid down a tack coat, I believe, and they are about a week behind. They couldn't quite get to it last week, but they've gotten caught up and everything's in line, so I believe they are going to be paving here today.
That has been the longest project.
Yeah, and it's actually coming in under the scheduled amount of time.
Really?
But, yes, it'll be nice to get that done.
Seems like forever. But anyway, yes, it'll be nice to get it done, but it's a vast change, a lot of work there. It wasn't just paving the street.
Correct. It was some drainage work. It was widening of that road and curb and gutter, and lining all the drainage ditches through there. So it ought to make for a nice road. Yeah. It's long overdue.
So construction continues on Avenue E. Folks have heard that a lot of times before. Right. The other thing that you hear so much and have for so long, of course, the COVID-19. What's the report for today, so far as you know, anyway?
The last report I received, and I think Kent mentioned something just a little bit ago, but there are just recently reported 49 active cases. That does represent a jump. I think we were hovering anywhere between 18 and 25 for quite a while. We did have a spike prior to that, I believe, up to 34, 35. But this represents, I believe, one of the more highest number of active cases that we've had.
That's interesting. So Lampasas is now following the rest of the state and the nation in this sudden spike. You wonder if that's caused just by more testing, or is that, well, obviously more people are sick.
I've heard, of course, on the kind of the local, regional, national news, I've heard all sorts of theories related to, people are, this is a time of year where we're visiting with more family. We've got sports going on. There have been mixed reports related to whether it's, school being open has anything to do with the spike, but a lot of it's just the community spread, and it's the close contact with neighbors and friends a lot of times.
This is a critical time, I guess, because everybody's going to be crowding into the stores, not only for Thanksgiving, getting their turkeys and stuff like that. There's going to be a lot of people in there, people handling everything. Sure. And it's going to be the same way at the Wally World and all of the others. And then Black Friday, coming up. People are going to be shopping, and but with kids coming from colleges and universities all over the country, where in certain places there are absolute huge surges in the coronavirus, and coming back home, boy, it's one of those times we all better be careful.
Right. And I think there's, people have been concerned, particularly if they're older folks in your family group and getting together for Thanksgiving. I think you've got to be careful and be diligent. Some people don't like to wear masks, but I think it's a darn good idea.
It seems a shame, wearing masks at a family Thanksgiving dinner, but when you've got new faces in the house, not new faces, but
right.
People, kids and whatnot coming, as I say, from college and that kind of thing, you really have to be careful.
You do.
So, what else is going on in Lampasas?
Getting ready for our city council meeting on Monday night. It'll be kind of a changing of at least some of the guard. Gordon Nelson and Robert Goodart will be sworn in as new council members, so that'll be kind of an exciting new step for us. Mike White and Chuck Williamson will be stepping down from council at that time. We'll also elect a mayor pro tem, so the council will decide who's going to be the number 2 person.
The votes have already been canvassed?
Yes, the votes were canvassed yesterday at 10.
So, because of the election, I guess you had maybe one of the largest election counts the city has ever had.
It's the largest since I've been here, and I believe it was well over 2,000, 2,400.
Yeah,
2,400 votes,
it's
something
just
like
a few
that.
hundred.
We've had votes, I believe, and this is off the top of my head, 800 or 900. So this is more than double the normal votes that we would see in the city.
That's interesting. Okay, so what is that meeting going to be about? What are the big things that you're going to...
Yeah, we'll go over, of course, we'll give our usual report on the COVID updates. Chief Smith will go over that with council, as well as reporting on our CARES Act allocation for the city and what we're submitting in terms of reimbursable funds. We'll go over 2021 project updates. We do this periodically, where we'll provide council with a list of the 15 or 20 projects and studies that are currently being conducted in the city and just try to give them an update on each one of those items. The other thing that council will be taking up in executive session, we'll be talking about the city secretary position. And as folks in the community might know, Christina Merez will be retiring after about 28 years with the city, and so council is going to be discussing what the next step is for that position.
That's an interesting position. A lot of people may not realize that the city secretary is not the secretary at City Hall, but an employee actually of the council.
Correct. It's a position that in the name, the title is somewhat misleading.
It is.
This is a person that's responsible for compliance with elections, for record keeping, for ORRs, or open records requests. So this has a lot of important statutorial duties and a lot of responsibility within the city.
Yeah. Do you have a lot of applicants for that position? Or?
Well, I think one of the things that council will discuss is, where do we go from here, and I think they'll take that up
okay.
in terms of the next steps are. You bet.
Okay.
We will also be looking at some odds and ends. We're probably looking at the possible purchase of a pickup truck for the water and wastewater department, maybe a street sweeper, and then also talking about a policy where the city might help particularly existing commercial structures, business owners with complying with new fire code for fire suppression. So, for example, if you want to start a business in downtown, you go into a vacant building and it has to have sprinklers for fire suppression. Council's interested in taking a look at what we can do to maybe assist an owner with that expense.
One of the things that I'm curious about in this time of trouble for an awful lot of local businesses, small businesses here in town, tax time, property tax time is coming up.
Yes.
In January. Has there been any discussion among the entities on giving local businesses a break on their property tax penalties, that kind of thing, if they're late?
Not that I'm aware of, and of course, I think the entity carrying the ball on that in that regard would be the appraisal district, but it's certainly not a topic that has come up at City Council.
It seems penalties are pretty high.
Yes.
On property tax. If you don't get it paid in January, February comes due, you owe a lot more money.
Right.
And a lot of the business owners that have a good deal of inventory, maybe valuable businesses that they have to pay on, it would seem that that's a topic, any possibility of visiting with the council on bringing that up among the other entities or anything?
It hasn't been mentioned previously, but I think if there's a situation or interest out there that's worthy of council discussion, I'm certain they'd talk about it.
Okay. Any particular things that you're going to tell the council in your comments and notes on Monday?
It'll be my normal kind of laundry list or grocery list of items that are currently happening. We will close this week on some bond refunding, save the city about $400,000 over the next 12 years. So we took advantage of some interest rates. Finally got that closed this week. We'll be talking about an upgrade to our local fiber project, or our city fiber project, where we've upgraded. It's amazing the amount of bandwidth it takes to operate a police department, fire department, and all the videos we have to store, and the necessity of that, and that's a report that we'll provide to them. We'll be taking a look at just updates on the recent EDC meeting, and also providing an update on some of the activities going on at the library over the holidays.
Okay. Mentioning the bandwidth thing, I know that you've got these internet provider companies that are going to be running a lot of fibers in the neighborhoods and whatnot, but you've got different companies doing this. Are they all going to be putting in different fiber? In other words, in some residential sections, are you going to have AT&T and NextLink and Roll Call all hanging fiber?
Yes, it could happen, provided there's room for them to attach so that they maintain the required spacing between the electrical infrastructure and the pole can handle the load. So, yes, that is a possibility.
Since a lot of times fiber is not anywhere near loaded up because there's so tremendous much capability of carrying stuff, it looks like these companies would get together and lay one large fiber line.
And originally when we started talking about this, and the city became very active in this project, 3 or 4 years ago, we had talked about trying to do at least a loop within the city, and would be somewhat of a shared loop with branches off of that from the individual ISPs. I think fortunately, we've had the private enterprise come in and say, hey, we'll do this, and so our investment was just limited to the study and the trying to assess the possibilities and assess the market. So I think that's a good thing on one hand, but at the same time, kind of a shared network loop might have been.
Would make a lot more sense.
Right.
All right. Okay, and we'll be back again next week prior to Thanksgiving, but I guess we have to say at this point, I hope everybody's making plans for a good Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
Lampasas City Manager Finley DeGraff and Reed on Wednesdays. You're listening to KCYL KACQ Radio.
Hi, welcome to Great Clips. How are you today?
I'm good, thanks.
Oh, sorry. That's a bit of a four-letter word around here.
What, good?
Yeah, the one that starts with G, rhymes with wood. It interferes with our focus on being great, so we just bleep it.
From saving your haircut details in clip notes to saving you time with online check-in, choosing Great Clips means never settling for good enough. Again, download our online check-in app today. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
I'm a firefighter.
A teacher.
I'm a farmer. I'm a barber.
A waitress.
A mom. We're all part of your community. Every day we move in and out of each other's busy lives.
It's easy to take for granted all the little moments that make up our everyday.
Some are good,
Others not so much.
But that's life. It's when you